Well, new this hour, summer vacation is in full swing for many students, but it's important to keep them engaged with activities during this off season to prepare them for the upcoming school year. Here to talk with us about some tips for keeping the learning going is Kathy Stevens, who is the director of the White Riley Peterson Policy Fellowship at Furman University. Kathy, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Absolutely.
Great to be here.
So our first question, we know that a lot of students, they were forced to kind of learn remotely for the second half of the school year. And I mean, it might not be the same amount of engagement as they might have gotten with teachers. How can that impact, I guess, parents getting them ready for the next school year?
Well, unfortunately, experts are predicting that we're going to face catastrophic learning loss as a result of COVID-19. And so even in years without a pandemic, we experience something called summer slide, or a loss of some of the learning that happened during the school year during the summer. So I think while parents are all feeling overwhelmed right now, and you're hearing that from all parents, that we as parents and guardians do have to challenge ourselves to seek out virtual in-home learning opportunities or safe in-person camps. You know, it doesn't have to be all the time, but we really need to find ways to engage our kids. A lot of camps are still opening, have opened and are opening. So parents who feel comfortable with that, and of course essential workers, should look into city, county, and community-based programs to see what's being offered. There are also a lot of great virtual learning opportunities. Also, just simple acts of reading together, playing board games, working through real-world math questions, that can just go such a long way to help stop the summer slide. And just one more thing, it's really not all about academic learning. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's that social and emotional learning is just critical to childhood development. So we've got to cultivate that at home as well. We need to work on things like resilience, empathy, communication skills, stress management, and after school and summer learning programs help a lot with those skills.
Yeah, and I think right now we're all kind of going through that process together. And we know that during the summer there's a lot of reading initiatives that are offered. Why is it so important that students really of all ages participate in some of these reading programs?
You know, of course, literacy is the foundation of everything. Early reading proficiency is one of the best and earliest predictors for educational attainment, including high school graduation. And so with the learning loss that's occurred, we're especially concerned about the impact on reading proficiency. And, you know, I get that as a parent, that sometimes it's hard to turn off the technology and sometimes it's hard to turn off the video games. But reading should be a part of every kid's summer. It can transport us. And in a time when we can't go as many other places, it can help us to see those other places and other points of view, which is so important right now. There are a ton of great reading initiatives out there. So just a little research can lead to finding out about those. Furman has an online literacy corner where kids can be tutored by master's degree candidates in literacy. And also just the libraries are just continue to be a great resource. They have a lot of curbside pickup, and of course it's free. So I encourage everyone to check into those library resources. I would just say, read. It's so important.
Absolutely. And I'd even say not just students of all ages, adults too. I'm a little bit of a bookworm myself, so that's definitely really important.
Me too.
Kathy, thank you so much. And we know that this pandemic is something that we're all learning together. So, of course, hopefully folks are able to continue to teach their kids and be creative in the learning process. Kathy, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.